Welcome to Remembering Smallville,
Episode 0.
A Smallville rewatch podcast.
In this episode, we'll introduce ourselves and invite you to take part in our journey as we watch and discuss Smallville from beginning to end.
My name is Daniel. I previously starred on a Star Wars role-playing podcast called The Skeleton Crew. I'll be moderating and keeping my ADD-brained friends on track, as well as occasionally supply you with interesting facts from behind the scenes. I remember seeing Smallville on the WB growing up and was always interested, though I didn't care about Superman. When I finally binged-watched it from start to finish, Superman became my favorite superhero. Smallville will forever be one of my favorite TV series.
Hi, my name is Nicole. I started watching Smallville at the tender age of 13, and Tom Welling, yum. I actually never finished the series because I went off to college, so the last few seasons are a mystery to me, and I look forward to watching them alongside with my friends. I'll be utilizing my handy-dandy trauma tracker, documenting the physical and emotional trauma that the main characters must endure in their daily lives of Smallville.
Hey, I'm Kim. I am the Smallville virgin. I think in my life I've seen maybe a total of 3 episodes. So I guess I could quote Mean Girls and I'm half a virgin. I am so excited to dive into this show with my friends. I will be watching this show with fresh, non-biased eyes. I will also be keeping track of the early 2000s fashion and any celebrity guest stars we may have.
Hi, my name is Brett. I will be bringing to you the rating of each episode, whether it's super or man, meaning whether we think it's a super episode or just a man. I will be the first to admit that before Smallville, I just couldn't buy into Superman, whether it was the glasses, the fact that a nearly indestructible being struggled against a smart businessman, or just an alien wearing tights. Smallville changed that for me, my friends, and I hope it does for you too. Just for fun, through the watch through, I will be calling out some good music that was used in the episodes as well.
Before the concept existed, Alfred Goff and Miles Miller pitched a coming-of-age show for a young Bruce Wayne, where, by the end, he would don the black cape and become Batman. The executives at WB weren't interested, so they went back to the drawing board for different ideas. They really liked the superhero coming-of-age origin story and decided to go with Superman. This became Smallville. The premise was that the show would have a no tights, no flights rule. In other words, Clark Kent wouldn't fly or wear his familiar garb in the show until the very end when he becomes Superman. They wanted to reduce the Man of Steel to his bare minimum fundamentals and put him through hell in order to refine him into the red-caped hero who fights for truth, justice, and the American way that we all know and love. Christopher Reeve, who played Superman back in ancient days, not only expressed his approval for the series, but made 2 guest appearances on the show before his death.
I love those episodes.
So
I must
good.
say, I love
so
them.
So good.
I can't wait.
Initially broadcast by the WB, the show premiered on October 16th, 2001. At the end of the run, the show surpassed Stargate SG-1 as the longest-running sci-fi series by episode count. The last episode of Season 10 aired on May 13th, 2011, and 22 issues of Season 11 in comic book form were later made. Though it has ended, the show forever remains in our hearts. We hope to be able to rekindle the love of Smallville in our listeners' hearts, and to a few, help plant the seed for them to discover a love of the show and its characters for the first time as you watch with all of us to the end. So what are you guys excited about?
Oh, definitely that last part. Making sure that Kim gets to get that seed planted.
I think this Ville sounds anything but small.
Should call it Bigville.
Okay, so Nicole, tell me what your thoughts are, and then I have a present for you.
So, I loved this show. It was like my go-to. I'm definitely like a binge watcher and a rewatcher of shows. Like, we could be doing a Gilmore Girls podcast. We could be doing, I can name The Office. I've seen them all over and over and over again. But Smallville was one of those shows that I had on DVD. So I would just like put the disc in, push play all, and like do a craft. I'm a crafty girl. But then I went off to college, and I don't know how it ended.
So you're the true half a virgin.
Yeah,
Oh,
really.
I'm so excited.
It's true.
So Nicole and I are definitely girls. We went and bought notebooks and we were all excited to take notes. So I found at the dollar store some stickers for us to decorate our notebooks. And they're comic book stickers. I will post a picture on our social media, but they say things like wham, pow.
Oh.
And I'm like, if you're the tracker of all the
Trauma.
yeah.
Onomatopoeias. I love them.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love this show too. I remember I would see it on TV and be like, a Superman show. And then like my friend told me it was super good. And so I was like, fine. So I would go to the library and I'd get the DVDs and I'd put them on hold sometimes for weeks at a time so that I could bring it home and watch it. And that's the first time I watched it. I watched it all on DVD in like 2014. And then for Christmas that year, I got the box set with all the special stuff. And I've just loved Smallville ever since. Some people didn't like how it wrapped up near the end, but I just love it. It makes me so happy. And I'm super excited to get to that point and see what Nicole and Kim think as it gets there as well.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like there are better seasons than others? Like
All
with
series are like
Absolutely.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Where they like hit their stride. And the budgets get bigger, so like the episodes get better, and the hair gets better, and the makeup gets better, and the clothes get better, and like the music budget's better, and bigger guest stars. But
Yeah,
I'm
for
so excited.
Smallville, and this is my personal take on it. It actually almost ends up being 3 mini series.
Mm-hmm.
You get like a first 3-4 seasons are kind of its own series, and then you get like a middle section that's its own, and then the final 3 seasons are their own. And I mean, obviously, it's all one series. And like Daniel, I absolutely love this series. I was not a big Superman person, and then I got introduced to this, and I blew through and binged this series so fast. And I've watched it, I don't even know how many times now. I love this series.
And Brett was lucky. He found it when it had
was
ended.
done. So then you get to
I just
truly
got to
binge.
binge the whole
See
thing.
that's what I didn't have that luxury. I was watching it as it was coming out, so I'd watch a season, and then I'd have to wait and wait and wait and wait forever, and then you get the next one, and then you watch it a bunch, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna start at season 1, and then you watch season 1 through 4, and then season 5 comes out, and then you watch season 1 through 5, and then you have to wait, you have to wait and wait.
That's amazing.
What's crazy is Daniel and I have been married for like 7 years. Literally, we've been married for 7 years, and we've never like watched it together.
We tried.
We both
but
have watched it separately in our younger lives, in our unmarried lives. So it's going to be like a very good bonding thing for us to do as we prep for this podcast.
My problem is that I've seen the first like 5 seasons enough times that I just like have a hard time rewatching them again from the beginning. I just want to get to like post season 5. That's when the story really picks up for me. And so I needed a reason to like actually watch and enjoy those. And I think that's what this podcast will help me with, is to help me kind of fall in love again with those earlier seasons, get back into the whole WB drama teen stuff where the teenagers are supposed to be 15.
And they're 35.
And I will say, this podcast will be as spoiler-free as possible for Kim and for you if you're new. And also for me, I haven't seen the last couple of seasons, as well as if you're watching, we kind of assume you know the episode well enough and or have recently watched it, because we're not going to be giving you like a line-by-line play-by-play necessarily.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Unless
watch
there's a
the
part where we're
episode.
like, oh my gosh, let's go through this.
Well, yeah,
play-by-play.
for sure.
Yeah. So what we hope our listeners will be doing is watching it with us.
Every week, yeah.
So like if you're feeling an inkling or like your soul is missing something or you have an itch you just can't scratch, it's Tom Welling.
Or
Or
Michael
just watch
Rosenbaum.
Smallville with us.
Yeah.
And for the guys, it's probably Kristen Kruk or Erica Durant.
We don't,
or-
yeah.
I'll be honest. So, like, Chloe Sullivan was like, I was in love with her. I'm so sad that the actress Allison Mack decided to make some sketchy choices because, man, she was so hot in this
Kind
show.
of ruined
Oh
it
my
for you.
Especially like season 8, 9, and 10, Chloe. Oh my gosh. So like all the girls are going to be swooning over Tom Welling, and I'm just going to forget that Allison Mack was a thing and that Chloe is just her own thing. And that'll help
Yeah,
me.
no, you got to
And that
separate the
it's
character.
a fake
from the
character.
actress,
So,
yeah.
you know, you
From
don't
the
have to-
actress, yeah, you got to separate that.
Brett would watch it and he would just tell me about the show. And I'm like, you're crazy. And then he would rewatch it. And he'd be like, oh, I skipped those 3 episodes. I don't need them. And he would only watch his favorites.
There's always filler episodes, and we will discuss those when they come.
Yeah, like the series starts out with kind of a villain of the day episodes, and they kind of start to depart from that as they went
But
along with the storytelling.
I like those. I like that it's like one and done, maybe 2 episodes, but usually it's a one and done. You see them, you never see them again, except when they bring them back.
Hey,
they team up.
spoilers!
No, they never come back in.
We have the delicious box set that comes with like photos and newspaper. And I miss that. You don't get that
Like
with
physical?
streaming anymore.
I
Yeah.
know.
I think it's good to remember with this series that it really feels like a comic book show. Like heroes, when they beat their villains in comic books, the villain doesn't go away forever. That villain's going to return. They like to be able to reuse them. And in this show, you'll see villains that are like kind of classic Superman villains that are also in their origins. And so this whole origin story, it does more than just Clark Kent. And what they do with kryptonite and everything is so clever that it gives him a lot more dynamics, makes him more interesting and exciting, and really like turns him into the person that is this super benevolent, almost godlike being who doesn't really do wrong. It's because he makes all of these mistakes along the way. And that's what Smallville's about, is young Clark Kent making a ton of mistakes and learning and becoming the guy in the red cape that we love, right? And so that's what I love about the show, is that you get to see this journey that no other Superman origin or superhero origin in general has ever really done.
Yeah, and it's super relatable for teens. If you're watching it as a teen, you get to see all the angst and relationships and stresses that, as an adult, you look at the stresses and you can kind of laugh because they're not really stresses, but high school.
But that's
kid
what makes
stress.
it so timeless, I think, in that it can be rewatchable.
And Brett and Kim, you have children and you have a teenager. So I'm so looking forward to hearing like your perspective from like Martha and Jonathan as they parent, because you have a perspective that we don't have, Daniel and I don't have, because we don't have children. So like I'm really looking forward to like seeing how you respond to what they say, because like Jonathan can be pretty stern and strict, so like on eyes as like a a teen watching it, I was always like, oh, so harsh. But
yeah, no, and not to get into any spoilers, but one of my favorite dynamics of the show is the comparison between parenting of Lionel Luthor, so Lex's dad, and Jonathan Kent, Clark's dad, and seeing
Jor-El.
and Jor-El, that's the biological dad of Clark, of Superman.
what do you mean?
And so as you
Spoilers, everybody.
as you see all of the dynamics of how this parenting can impact a child, and obviously it's scripted, right? But there's something as a parent that, since I've been watching the show, I've definitely connected to see, oh wow, how does it all work? And there are definitely values in all of them.
And some days we're the Lex Luthor parents, and other days we're the Clark Kent parents. So we can totally relate to any.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of the funniest things I love about this show is that in the very beginning, the main characters who are the same age are 14 to 15 years old. So keep that in mind as you're starting episode 1 and you're watching.
He's supposed to be like a 15-year-old kid.
Yeah, so
That man is 30.
like Clark, Chloe, Pete, and Kristen Kruk. What's her name? Lana. Those characters are all supposed to be like
15,
9th
16.
grade.
Yeah.
Do we know
14,
their
like
riding the
actual
bus.
ages?
Yes,
Riding the bus.
Yes, they're 19, and then the show takes place over 10 years chronologically. So by the end, they're about 25.
Okay.
It's insanity because they look older than me, and I am 30 currently, and I'm gonna look at them and say they're old.
You're 34, honey.
Oh,
Nope, she's
Oh,
29
I'm-
forever. What's wrong
I
with you?
know.
Why would you even?
She looks 17.
Nicole, you look 29,
Thank
and you
you.
look great.
thank you.
I used to say Forever 21, and I'm like, I would never want to go back to 21. 30 or 29 is like golden
But we have
years.
Smallville where they are 30, but we lie to ourselves and say that they're 15.
Yeah,
Because we still look like that.
we could talk about in episode 1 exactly like how old some of the actors were, just to kind of let you see the very big difference. Because I'm pretty sure Tom Welling was near 40 when he finished.
No, 40 when he finished. Okay.
Yeah.
Not when he started.
When he finished, and it's like, oh man, imagine playing a teenager when you're in your 30s, right? Like, oh my gosh.
I'd be like, I can't relate. What words? Riz? What are we
pubescent.
saying? What are we saying these days?
Yeah.
What are the words?
The slang, I wouldn't know.
Oh yeah, are you excited for like the old early 2000s, like slang and technology, the flip phones, all that
Oh,
stuff?
I do love
my
old tech.
gosh.
The nostalgia.
So excited. And I was looking up fashion, what they actually called the fashion in the early 2000s. They called it Y2K fashion.
Well, it
I
was
love
awful.
that.
It was a real thing. Oh, you think it's awful? It's coming back.
Alongside like 90s grunge.
Yeah.
Oh. Hello, whale tail. Hello, bell bottoms, flares. They're bringing it all back.
And we will relive it in Smallville.
Yes.
Well, we have not watched episode 1 yet, and we're going to watch it together today.
Let's do it. Let's go watch your sode.
Yeah, let's
We're going to go
episode
watch,
1.
and then we're going to hop right back on and talk about it.
Woohoo!
We're in our sweats. We're going to eat yummy food and we're going to watch this amazing show.